all of these things is that the story recently broke, and again, talking about indoctrination into the school system, it's not just sexual education. All of this stuff tied in with the diversity, equity, inclusion, all of this stuff is designed to eliminate, like how Mao eliminated any culture other than the communist culture in China when he took over, and how every authoritarian, totalitarian regime does the same and has done the same throughout history. They're doing the same with British culture now. So I'm just trying to find the story that there was a young girl who was sent home from, I believe she was excluded from school on Inclusion and Diversity Day for actually wearing the Union Jack, wearing a dress with a Union Jack on it. And she was told, her father was told to pick up her daughter from school because she was not permitted to celebrate British culture on Cultural Diversity Day, because it's no longer acceptable, because they said she gets to celebrate that culture every day. She gets to celebrate that culture every day. That's the exact reason that they use. And these kids, you know, I think she said she's 12 years old, I believe it was. I believe it's a 12-year-old girl. She is in, you know, no way really to understand the real ramifications of this, that she's being put through a struggle session. Many parents don't get it either. But this is just a smokescreen, you know, or rather diversity was the smokescreen, not for celebrating other cultures, for eliminating our own. That's what diversity really means. When they say diversity, it just means we're not allowed to celebrate our own culture, despite the fact it's a really good fucking culture. That we have to celebrate everybody else's. We have to celebrate the colonizer's culture. That's what we have to do. That's what diversity means. So I believe this is something that the young girl wrote for Cultural Diversity Day at Bilton School, which Bilton School, the motto for it is be the best you can be, and they're built on being nice to everybody, right? Nice to everybody except those who want to celebrate British culture. I believe there's a video of her explaining this as well, which I'll see if I can find in a moment. I said, today I want to talk about my culture, British culture, and why it's important to me. In Britain, we have lots of traditions, including drinking tea, our love for talking about the weather, and we have the royal family. I'm not sure too much about that last one anymore. You know, the Grand Mufti of Westminster Cathedral. We have an amazing history like kings and queens, castles, and writers like Shakespeare. 100% true. It's also modern, diverse, and always changing, with music and fashion and food from all around the world blending into daily life. And let's not forget fish and chips. It's also the way that we speak, our humor, our values of fairness and politeness, and the mix of old traditions and new ideas. Sometimes at school, we only hear about other cultures, which is great because learning about different countries is interesting and important. More so important than interesting in a lot of cases, where you realize that a lot of cultures from countries around the world don't line up with our own. You know, you look at a lot of the cultures we being told we have to celebrate now, they are nothing like our own. They're diametrically opposite to our own in many instances. We should not be celebrating them. We should not even be tolerating them. But I can feel like being British does not count as a culture just because it's the majority. I think culture should be for everyone, not just for people from other countries or backgrounds. Being British is still a culture, and it matters too. It's part of who I am. So let's celebrate all cultures, whether they come from far away or from right here at home. Again, so the kid is writing about this in a very, you know, the way you would expect a child to, because they, you know, may not be familiar with, you know, all cultures. You know, we shouldn't celebrate all cultures. No, we should not celebrate all cultures, because there are cultures, as I said, that are diametrically opposite to our own. They're evil cultures, like satanic cultures and things like that. So they should not be celebrated. Okay, there are cultures that should not be celebrated. But the kid clearly not doing anything to incite hatred or anything like that, just wanting to show that she appreciated and valued her own culture, which she's perfectly entitled to do, especially in her own country, her own homeland, and she was sent home and excluded for it. So this is what the young girl had to say, and I'll let her explain what happened now. It says in the caption, a 12-year-old girl who was sent home from school because she chose to celebrate British culture on Diversity Day. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
For Culture Day, I decided to wear my Union Jack dress to represent the music and the nationality where I come from. It made me feel proud, it made me feel confident. All my friends were saying, oh my god, what a great dress. I walked in and my teacher was like, oh, is that like Ginger Spice? I was like, yeah. It felt normal. I felt proud. Yeah. The first teacher I saw, she straight away just took me to go get changed. She didn't want to hear about my dress or see it. She just straight away wanted me to get changed and not be in it. Another
You can see the
teacher tried to
disappointment
stop
in her
me
face
and
as well.
said that you can't be in that. It's your nationality and not your culture. And some other girl who's wearing her family tradition, like rugby top, got told for Culture Day I decided to wear my...
So the video cuts off there, because there actually was as well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe there was another person, I'm not sure whether it was a male or female student, that was wearing either a shirt or dress, whatever it was, another clothing item with the Welsh flag on it. They were told they couldn't wear that either. They were told they had to remove it. So yeah, really, really awful stuff. And somebody commenting in the comments there saying British culture is Palestine colours. And really does appear that way. You know, you have people going in there with the cultural dress of wherever they're from, if they're from elsewhere in the world, especially if they're from there for like Middle Eastern or Southern Asian, these kinds of areas where Islam may be dominant. And, you know, if people come in wearing Islamic dress, they'll be celebrated, you know, all of this stuff. But if you want to wear something that, you know, celebrates the culture that you actually come from as a British person, you're told you can't do that because you're an evil oppressor. You get to celebrate all of this every day. I'm sorry, they get to celebrate all of it every day in their homeland back home as well. Doesn't mean we don't have to celebrate it if we don't want it. And we set the terms here. The British people set the terms in Britain, or at least that's the way that it should be. You know, the British nation under God. But anyway, that's just a really epitomizes the kind of things that your kids are going to be put through. They're being put through the child's sexual education struggle sessions. They're being put through struggle sessions with regard to their culture, to have any sense of national pride beaten out of them. Any sense of national pride beaten out of them. And you have to reinforce it. You have to reinforce it. Especially because things in this country are about to get a hell of a lot worse by the sounds of it.